Vidhammer Fantasy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Spudlow, bringing you the Vidhammer news for March 3rd, 2014. Plenty to talk about this week because this past weekend was Crucible 3, as you all know and I'm sure are anticipating. I will simply say that, I recorded the first 4 games that I played, and the last game I just took pictures of my game since I went ahead and put the camera up for the final match that was between the Dark Elves and the Demons of Chaos. I haven't even seen the footage from that game yet, but I'm hoping that it's really good. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to decipher what has actually happened simply from the volume on the camera. I know it's not going to be easy because it was noisy in there. We had everyone from 40K and War Machine, Hordes, and Fantasy all in the same room. Very large room, so you're looking at 150 plus competitors on the different tables. Obviously, my voice gave out about halfway through Saturday, and my ears long before that, really. But it was a great tournament. This was my first grand tournament that I'd actually been to, and it was a lot of fun. There were a lot of great people there. Some very well painted lists, some very tough lists, some very much more fluffy lists, a bit closer to mine. Even though my list was actually ranked pretty tough compared to some of the others. It was a very enjoyable experience all around. Bob Shippie did a great job putting this thing together, and especially being that this was the first year that he actually did it for Warhammer Fantasy. They've had Crucible 3, or Crucible, before the past 2 years, but Fantasy wasn't a part of it. And this was the first year that they actually had Warhammer Fantasy being involved. And for the first shot, he did a great job. Everybody there loved it. Really good props to him and to everyone else who played. A lot of fun, and I'm sure we're going to see everybody back there again next year, and hopefully a lot more. Anyway, there's no end to good things that I can say about the tournament and how it was run and the people there. It was a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. Definitely, I'm going to be back next year, no matter what. That's definitely a given right there. So with that, I will allow anybody that doesn't want to hear any spoilers about how well I did, and as such, you won't get any information on the upcoming battle reports that I will be doing, although I'm not going to be doing them right away. I've still got 2 videos I want to finish before, and then I'm going to start working on the Crucible 3 stuff. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, go ahead and turn this video off right now, because I'm going to talk about how I did. You have been warned. And I gave you plenty of time to turn it off. So now I'm going to talk about how I actually did there. Even though I had fun and I really liked the tournament, I got my butt handed to me. Not so much, I won my final game. I lost the other 4. Even though 3 of them I didn't win by too much. They were pretty close, even matches and stuff, and things went back and forth. And I made a couple of good tactical decisions. I made a couple of bad ones. In most notably in game 2, when you get to that one, I just did a horrible decision, and it was completely controllable. And if I'd done things the right way, the outcome would have been a bit different. I don't think it would have been a huge sway, and it definitely wouldn't have changed my outcome in the tournament. But it's just an example of the things that I've got to do correct. And it's a perfect example of, here's one simple thing that if you do it right, you're going to win. If you don't do it right, you're not going to win. And I didn't do it right, but I still had a great game. That was probably my most enjoyable of the 5 games that I played, playing against Josh with the Warriors of Chaos, and we just had a lot of fun with that game. It was a definite kick. And First game I play against the High Elves. There's a Frost Phoenix, and I shoot my Warp Lightning Cannons on it. The first turn, I end up scoring 4 wounds on it. I spend the rest of the game trying to kill that damn thing, and I can't. I just keep shooting at it, and I'm falling short, or I'm doing, you know, strength 2, and he's just making saves, and I'm just like, yeah, it's not much I can do at it. I spend all my time, the rest of my focus, trying to whittle down these white lions, and I finally end up getting them like at the very end of the game. But you know, there's already a good chunk of my stuff down, and he gets that one. And it was a good opponent, a lot of fun for that one. That was a very good note to start off on, because it was still a reasonably close game, but had a lot of fun. And he had a very pretty painted Frost Phoenix out there, a good army. Enjoyed that one. Then I went to the Warriors of Chaos one, and again, just a really fun match, and we were probably very even in our generalship, and he had some characters that I was just not prepared for, and I knew I didn't have the ability to take them out, and I kind of had one somewhat golden opportunity. It's kind of like, okay, all right, I might be able to get a foothold here. And I just made one very, very rookie mistake, and it ended up costing me, the game. But it still was pretty close, and we had a lot of fun and everything. So I move over to the third game for Saturday, and that one was the tough one. I'm playing an opponent who's Warriors of Chaos again. So I just played Warriors of Chaos. Now I'm playing Warriors of Chaos a second time. And it was a very tough list. He had a couple of units of Skull Crushers that just came in. And I had some bad luck. And I had just, I was trying to get a win to do things correctly. And my opponent had just had a really nasty defeat. So he was looking to get back on track. So it was a much more competitive game, and I didn't have as much fun playing that one. But the total outcome, I just ended up getting tabled. I had some rough luck. I lost both my Warp Lightning Cannons on the first turn. Both of their first shots, they blew up, and then on my opponent's first turn, he is able to hit my Grey Seer with a very nasty spell and just took him out. So in the first turn of the game, I literally lost my capability to deal with his army. And after that point, it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to catch a break in this game. And, he utilized that and was able to come in and just absolutely destroy me. So that really put me off from the tournament standpoint. At that point, I'm looking at things. I'm just like, why did I bring this list? Why did I bother to come here? I don't want to play Skaven, at least not the way that I'm playing them. I'm sure there are probably some lists out there that people will say these are really powerful Skaven lists, but realistically, that was the game that just made me look at things and be like, yeah, when I think about things, Skaven do not have the capability to compete in a tournament where you take the gloves off, where everything is allowed, nothing's illegal, take the hardest list that you can. Skaven can't deal with that. They just don't. I mean, they have some elements that have the potential, but the probability is too low. And as soon as you get on the table, you're like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know what I have to go after. If I can get that, 1/4 to 1/3 of the time where this element that I've got is going to do awesome, then I have a very good chance of winning this game. But if it doesn't come through, I don't have anything else. Because once melee starts, I'm done. And I got to see that very clearly. And that's what made me just kind of think, even though as much as I really like the Skaven, I really enjoy the play style, that isn't the right place for it. And if I do get to another, grand tournament anytime soon, I've got to rethink my tactics, especially in what army I choose to bring. So that was kind of how I ended Saturday in my mind. I was just kind of like, oh, this is not good. But it came back on Sunday. I don't have to worry about anything at all as far as the tournament goes. I'm in the losing bracket, and I'm not going to get out of it. So I played the last 2 games, and they were a lot of fun. I got to play the Tomb King's player that was there, the one Tomb King player. So we had the similar camaraderie that we were the only people bringing the army that we had chosen, and we played. And there I was stuck with that one situation, the pivotal dice roll, which went definitely not in my favor, and it made things very difficult from that part on. The chariots that he had coming across, I had one chance to get my units into the flank, but I was blocked by this single warp fire thrower that I had out there. It's like, okay, well, I can charge the warp fire thrower, and as long as he makes it, I can get my other units into the flank of this chariot, and then it's okay if my main unit breaks and runs. He's not going to be able to run them down. I've got these guys in his flank, and one of them is slaves, and I'm going to be steadfast forever. So yeah, I'm not worried about that. I'll be able to actually whittle these chariots down, and I have my hell pit sitting over here, so everything looks good. But the warp fire thrower needed a 5 to make that distance, and I rolled 4. So that was just like, okay, he can't make it out of the way, so my other units are blocked, can't make it. And then he cuts down my general and his clan rat unit and overruns. It's like, yeah, that was pretty much the game right there. So that one was kind of tough, just because you get to that pivotal point and you're like, this is where everything's on the line. I got all my eggs in this basket, and the odds are definitely in your favor, but it doesn't come through. And you're like, well, okay, I kind of got beaten by dice. If that hadn't happened, it probably would have been a very close game, probably within a point either way, 11-9, one way or the other. But because of that, I end up with a more of a significant loss. But still had a lot of fun. Got to see the Tomb Kings out there and experience a little more of a heavy chariot style play, which is always nice because it's different tactically than several of the other games that are being played, because there were, in the end, 5 Warriors of Chaos players, and that makes for some relatively consistent play, and it's nice to see the differences out of those. But that was a fun game. The last game where I go up against Dark Elves, which was kind of nice. There were a couple of other Dark Elf players there. The tournament was actually won by a Dark Elf player. The final match, the one that I got on film that I'm hoping I'll be able to decipher and give you guys a good battle report for, was between the Dark Elves and the Demon's Chaos. And as I mentioned before, I haven't seen that yet, but I want to go back and look at it. I want to get the other videos out of the way first and spend some time to make that one the way it needs to be. Do it justice, so to speak. So my final game, I was playing Dark Elves, and that was pretty good. He had the Warlock, kind of chaff units out there, and he had some Corsairs, and of course he had the Witch Elves with Cauldron of Blood. Actually, I don't remember now if he actually had Cauldron of Blood or not. I don't think he did. I think he just had some Witch Elves. He had some Executioners, and we went up. I was able to get some good magic off at some key times. Kind of do that Wither and then Plague combo to lower someone's toughness to 2 and then get your Plague off. Actually, I don't think that happened either. I think I got one of those 2 off, and I think he blocked the other one. But having one of them work is nice. You get both of them work at the same time, you're doing awesome. But it was a fun game. Tactically we did a lot of maneuvering because we had some impassable stuff right in the center. Walked around, and it was good. It was a good game, and that was a good note to end on. I gave my pieces out, the ones that I had painted up, to everyone, and I actually... Oh, I put them away already, darn it. I actually got 2 new units to put in, 2 new models to put in with my slave unit. So I've got a Warrior of Chaos, the first actual Chaos Warrior that I've gotten, and a Tomb King up there with the shield and spear, and the shield is really nice red frontage to it and everything. So I decided to take the two that I got from the tournament and put them on the same base, put them next to each other as two that'll sit in the slave block together. Since I had to take the Warrior of Chaos off anyway, because he's 25mm and I got to put him on a 20mm base. So I took them off and put the two of them next to each other. And I'm figuring that's what I should do for the tournament stuff from here on, is actually put whatever models I get from that tournament on the same base and put them together in some humorous or significant fashion, and put a plaque for that one tournament, so so people can see it and see like, oh yeah, this is what I got from this tournament, and these are the people that I played at this tournament, and so on and so forth. And with that, I'm done with my ramble. But first, one final note, one thing that I watched just yesterday evening when I was thinking about the Skaven and thinking about how other people tend to view me when I go and play in even local game tournaments, and also for Crucible 3. People look at Skaven and kind of go, oh, Skaven, man, they're all broken. And I still get that mentality from people, despite what my actual outcome is. And I'm sure a good deal of that is because I'm not bringing the lists that are effective, and I'm not playing the way that is the most effective. Still, I look at things and I'm just kind of like, okay, Skaven are not broken. And I try to get people to realize this, but a lot of them don't. I listened to a pro-Skaven rant that was put up by Skaven and AZ, and I'll put the link up for that one here. It's definitely a great one to listen to. He really knows what he's talking about. And the whole time I was listening to it, I was just like, yes, right on. Please, other people, listen to what he's saying. Because a lot of times people remember the one game that they played where they got beaten, and it's kind of like, how can this be? This is so ridiculous. And the thing that you don't realize as the opponent, for the Skaven player, they're sitting over there and saying the same thing. Saying, I can't believe that this all happened. This is ridiculous. Because for us, we've played 100 games where this has not worked out. We've played the games where it's been a crushing defeat because you've been trying to do the same thing and it doesn't work out. And then you have that one game where it's actually a victory and it's just a landslide, and you go and you blow the crud out of the other person and everything works great. And you're like, sweet! I finally had that game. And now I can look forward to several more where it's not going to turn out that way. But people don't remember all of those games because they don't see them and they don't stick out in their mind. They remember that one game that they lost by, ridiculous odds or whatever. And I think Skaven and AZ does a very good job of conveying the things that the Skaven players see and know about our army list. And a lot of other people don't. So people say that the Skaven army book is broken, and it isn't broken by the standards now. It was probably broken by the standards when 8th edition first came out. And Skaven were sitting there with a relatively new book, and now 8th edition hits. Skaven has a significant advantage. Every book that's come out since then has taken away that advantage, especially with the Warriors of Chaos and the Dwarves and the Dark Elves and the Vampire counts that have just come out. The ability for any one of those armies to be able to have a significant advantage over what the Skaven used to have as their advantage. They're not a competitor anymore on the hard lists. Take your gloves off, hit as hard as you can. Skaven aren't going to be able to hit you that hard. Sure, the Doom Wheel and the Hell Pit are nasty when they're working right. You got to alter your tactics. Have something else charge them. It's too inconsistent, and if you miss, you die. Terrorgeist fly around the side and scream at you and kill you in one hit. So there is the soapbox. I'm going to get down off the soapbox and let you guys get back to whatever it was you were doing. Thank you all for watching. Look forward to the battle reports coming out. They will be hitting the YouTube very soon, I hope. I'm just going to have to grind through as many of these things as I possibly can as they still start to stack up, because I'm probably going to be playing a weekly game with Bob Shippie tomorrow evening over at Learn to Play. He's going to bring a big goblin army, so I'm canning the Storm Vermin. I'm going to throw the Screaming Bell in there and take a bunch of silliness. Take some more slaves, some more clan rats, and yeah, see how that one goes. So, you guys have fun. Hope you enjoy the upcoming videos, and until next time, keep fighting.